just wanted to check where we're at.
I appreciate the opportunity here.
Oh, no, I appreciate you joining me on panel here and talking with me. So let me ask you this, an obvious question, but I just want to hear your words. So what did you think about what happened in the church with Robin and her daughter?
I was quite pissed.
Were you there at the church that day?
No. Let me start by saying I am friends with Robin through family connections. I don't live in Kingsport or Rogersville. I visit, quite often. I have family that live down there. My family, Robin's family, very good friends. But as far as I've never gone to the church.
There you are, Bobby Pin.
Robin.
Oh.
You should have.
Hold on. Turn your camera off and I'll bring you back on the stream.
There you are, Bobby Pin.
There should be an icon. There you go. Okay. There we go. All right, Bobby Pin, thank you so much, Lucy. They are taking the opportunity of absence of evidence to insert their beliefs as factual evidence. By the way, Will, I love what you're doing. Okay, cool. Thank you, Bobby Pin. I appreciate that. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. And what's your name? What do I call you?
Motomom.
Motomom. Okay, Motomom.
Yeah, Motomom.
I can tell you my name later, but I mean, everybody who knows Robin, her daughter, her family, are all extremely upset because there's just a lot of truth that's not being told. There's just so much crap that's not being told. And we kind of thought it was going to die down quite a bit until today, when I had a text message with a link.
Welcome to Jetson. Are we allowed to say?
That person that was just on screen talking.
So we don't miss anything, let me just say. Let's not do her name, though. Well, thank you, Judy. I don't want to share, I already said that, but still, I'm thankful, so thank you again. Hey, Emily, we just started. We literally just started. We've been running our mouths for a minute. And I want to not go too far past very soon, because Support with Steffa is covering the little boy I covered this morning on her channel tonight. I will share that link with you guys. I hope that you guys can support her, because that's really important. This little boy deserves a movement. He's got no attention. And it's bad. Okay.
Didn't just dox Robin, but showed her home. I didn't know if you wanted to wait until you got to that part. That's what really pisses me off. That set.
So on the live stream that I'm showing right now, she doxed Robin.
Listen, she actually took that heifer.
I turned it off.
And that other person.
I don't want to contribute to that.
It wasn't in this.
They walked down the street, right in front of Robin's house, turned into her driveway, and then they went, knocked on her door, and then left a note. What they failed to show on that video, I was on the phone with Robin. Let me go back a little bit. I was on the phone with Robin because.
So I don't know if you guys saw that. I did see it. They knocked, no one answered, and they left a note. I'm not sure why they put it on YouTube showing her house. I'm guessing to, kind of calm people down, because people were very upset about the church camera incident, and maybe thinking that, she wanted to apologize, and I think she wanted to show people that she had apologized.
Because she had been getting texts and calls about the video of her daughter. And at the time I'm on the phone with her, there's banging on the door. I could hear the banging on the door.
And it
put Robin in the position of immediate fear, because, she doesn't know who these people are very well. But I mean, how crazy does someone have to be to actually, find out we live, show up there after a display at the church? That would make me think that you are a little not safe. So I was on the phone with her, and I said, take your daughter and go to the bathroom and call 911. And that's what she did. So I was on the phone with her for quite a bit.
Imagine. I bet she was scared. I don't know. I would have been too, especially with the way that people are chasing down people, going to their homes, and it's getting to be a little too much. Police don't do that stuff. Police don't blackmail for interviews. Police don't say, if you don't talk to me, I'm going to start a mail campaign and have all my viewers mail your boss, write letters to your boss to tell him why you don't deserve that job. There's reasons that you have the Fifth Amendment. You don't have to speak to them.
But they didn't just walk up and ring the doorbell.
And how was Robin handling that? Was she upset?
Are very close to the same age.
Right. Mom. Okay, Mom.
Several times that they really appreciated that.
No, they were nice to you. They were nice to you because you guys are manipulative fucks who would absolutely claim police brutality or try to expose them as some sort of horrible people. They see you as a threat because of everything that you do. So you basically held them hostage into being nice to you, because they were afraid of public backlash that you might twist into happening. That's all. That's all. They were cordial towards you. That's it.
Idiots.
Also told us that they watch all of our channels. Yeah, they watch.
Yeah.
We know when we're live.
Yeah, they watch your channels to keep tabs on you. That's why they watch your channels, to keep tabs on you. All right.
Yeah, I would prefer not to be on camera. I mean, I don't care if you see me, but I would.
Camera off. But
I'm sorry, what's it? Say it again.
Keep you. Yeah, I can just keep you in the background here. So
no. If that's okay. Yeah,
I can see you, but nobody else can see you right now.
Okay, I'm totally cool to be transparent with you. I just, with all the stuff going on right now, I've got on my face, not be out for these quote unquote people to, try to rip me to shreds like they're trying to do to Robin. So I appreciate the opportunity here.
Oh, no, I appreciate you joining me on panel here and talking with me. So let me ask you this. An obvious question, but I just want to hear your words.
Okay.
So what did you think about what happened in the church with Robin and her daughter?
I was pissed. I was quite pissed.
Were you there at the church that day?
No. Let me start by saying I am friends with Robin through family connections.
Okay.
I don't live in Kingsport or Rogersville. I visit, quite often. I have family that live down there. My family, Robin's family, very good friends. But as far as I've never gone to the church. Robin.
Oh. Hold on. Turn your camera off and I'll bring you back on the stream. There should be an icon. There you go. Okay.
Okay.
There we go. All right. Bobby Pin, thank you so much. Let me see. They are taking the opportunity of absence of evidence to insert their beliefs as factual evidence. By the way, Will, I love what you're doing. Okay, cool. Thank you, Bobby Pin. I appreciate that. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. And what's your name? What do I call you?
Oh, you call me Motomom.
Motomom. Okay, Motomom.
Yeah. And I can tell you my name later, but I mean, everybody who knows Robin, her daughter, her family, are all extremely upset because there's just a lot of truth that's not being told. I mean, there's just so much crap that's not being told. And we kind of thought it was going to die down quite a bit until today, when I had a text message with a link, and that that person that was just on your screen talking didn't just dox Robin, but showed her home towards I didn't know if you wanted to wait until you got to that part. That's what really pisses me off. That set.
So on the live stream that I'm showing right now,
yes.
she doxed Robin.
Listen, she actually took that heifer.
I turned it off.
And that other person.
I don't want to contribute to that.
They walked down the street, right in front of Robin's house, turned into her driveway, and then yes, they went, knocked on her door, and then left a note. What they failed to show on that video, I was on the phone with Robin. Let me go back a little bit. I was on the phone with Robin because she had been getting texts and calls about the video of her daughter. And at the time I'm on the phone with her, there's banging on the door. I could hear the banging on the door.
Oh
and it put Robin in the position of immediate fear because, she doesn't know who these people are very well. But I mean, how crazy does someone have to be to actually, find out you live, show up there after a display at the church? That would make me think that you were a little not safe. So I was on the phone with her and I said, take your daughter and go to the bathroom and call 911. And that's what she did. So I was on the phone with her for quite a bit. But they didn't just walk up and ring the doorbell.
And how was Robin handling that? Was she upset? Was she
at the time?
I mean,
when,
obviously she was upset.
When they were banging on the door.
Yeah.
Are you talking about?
How was
she was scared.
How was she reacting to that?
She was scared initially. She was home alone with her daughter, who was very young.
Jesus. So after they filmed her daughter, in the church, they took it a step further and showed up to her house.
Yes, they sure did.
Wow.
Yeah. So the reason that the video came down was not, how do I say this? It wasn't because they just had this change of heart. The right thing to do to get it down. That's not what happened.
Yeah, I know that.
Law enforcement, had a conversation with them about, that's not cool. And so I believe, I don't know this to be true, but I believe that their panties were in an uproar at that point. Oh my gosh, I might get in some trouble. So they took it down thinking that would be okay. Just kind of like, oh, oops, I made a little mistake.
Can you confirm whether or not Robin is planning on moving forward with pressing charges?
I can't.
Okay.
I can't.
No,
I can tell you she's not doing nothing. She's not doing nothing.
Okay, cool. All right. Good. That's good.
That's all I can say.
That's all my listeners would want to know, honestly.
For sure. She's not doing nothing. She has a daughter who has been tremendously affected by that heifer and her friends going to the church, coming to their home, screaming outside of random places. They were also down by where Robin works.
Can you say how her daughter has been affected?
She's a mess. I'm not going to say her name or anything like that.
No,
I'm going to tell you this.
Please don't.
Go with me on this for a second, okay? Her daughter and Summer are very close to the same age.
Right.
They went to the same church. They were friends.
Robin is Summer's Sunday school teacher, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Sabbath school, Sunday school. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, just different days.
Right, the Sabbath school thing. Right.
Yes. Robin loves Summer. I don't really want to. Last time that Robin came forward and spoke out about, her relationship with Summer.
Robin just seems like a really beautiful soul. Like every time I've seen her on an interview, she's got this radiant smile and she says nothing but positive things about the Wells family and Summer. And it's really kind of her to do that. You know what I mean? Like she you can tell she's trying to consciously set an example for how we should be behaving towards this family right now.
Absolutely. And let me start off by saying that Robin has had really nothing to do with YouTube. She had Facebook and things like that she's had to take down because of all of this stuff. I have kind of always, watched YouTube videos whenever I would be at work. I would be gone for a couple of days at a time and traveling and things like that. And I kept, keep up with the news and stuff like that. So, Robin is as sweet as she comes off. One thing, the reason, you won't see her come forward until she really trusts somebody, especially after this mess. But as you know, as a generally speaking, Robin has seen the things that have been said about her. You know, does she giggle a little bit whenever she gets nervous? She definitely does. She lives in a really small town.
A lot of people do that. Yeah, a lot of people
She's
do that.
married. She's not flashy. She's not out and about. She doesn't go to a big city. So when the cameras come to her and they're asking her hard questions, it's her nature, I guess, to giggle, and people tore her apart for that. But, Robin has never spoke ill about a single person. She's never had an ugly comment about a single person. I have never heard her say anything. She's just truly that kind. And she was ripped to shreds for showing kindness to a family before and after their daughter came up missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That infuriates me, actually.
Yeah, it's hard to watch. That's why I kind of had my fill with these people and what they're doing, because they're so focused on creating chaos, being front and center, telling lies, not being honest. And at the end of the day, there's so many things that they say that are just not true. When they walked in the church that day, everybody knew who they were. They didn't, people didn't know Olivia, but they knew that Molly Golightly. They knew who she was.
Yeah, was Robin aware of
she saw
Molly
her the minute she walked in.
Okay, so when she sat next to her daughter, so that's how I saw it, because I saw the video. I actually watched it while I was live here. I didn't show it, but I watched it while I was on a live stream, and the reaction that I got, or the impression I got, was that Robin's choice in how to deal with it was to pray.
Robin's, in a sense, yes. I mean,
she didn't get confrontational in the slightest
not at all.
Not at all. You could see that her daughter was uncomfortable. You could clearly see that her daughter was uncomfortable. And
absolutely.
So Molly Golightly was consciously abusing this child. Consciously. She knew what she was doing.
Oh, absolutely. Here's the thing. People don't hide things that are good, they hide things that are bad. Like if you have a bad quality, or I used to work with I don't want to say that. You just don't walk downstairs and tell your darkest secrets or the things that you're the most shameful to your entire family. You hide those, right? Those people did not walk in the church that day like they did Walmart before that. Like they went down to all the stores downtown Kingsport. When they went everywhere else, they had their cameras out, they had their phones out. They didn't care who saw them. But when they went into the church, they did not have phones out. They did not have cameras out. They had spy pens. So they knew what they were doing, and they hid it because they knew that it was wrong. Because you're not going to hide something that's not wrong. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Okay. And that's what they did. And on top of that, I don't know how many stories that I personally have heard. Calling her Molly Golightly. I have all kinds of different names for her, but I've heard different stories that she has told, and not one of them is true. Robin's daughter would never, under any circumstances, touch another woman or man or anybody else's handbag or bag of items or wallet or anything of the sort. She would definitely smile and say, "Hi, nice to meet you," something along those lines, but never would she even sit close enough to a stranger to be able to touch, her purse. That was a lie. Flat out lie.
So,
on top
of harassing this child, Molly Golightly, I wasn't aware of this. She accused this little girl of trying to take something from her purse. I watched a video. Unbelievable.
Yes, I watched a video where she tried to validate and justify her ridiculous actions by saying that she sat down and that she said hello to the little girl, and that I'm going to call her Jay because I don't want to overthink and accidentally say her name. So I'm going to call her Jay. So she said that that Jay sat closer to her, and that she had some, she's always got to be flashy. She had a flashy handbag, and that Jay touched. That would never happen. That would never happen. That little girl is the sweetest, kindest, very shy little girl. She's going to talk to people that she doesn't know. My Nana babysits for her. So when I tell you she's the sweetest, kindest little girl, I mean that. And so please,
I believe it.
Don't turn anything that I'm saying into a connection.
Robin seems like a very kind soul who's a very engaged parent. So I would imagine someone like Robin raising and having the offspring of someone like her. So I would imagine that there's a lot of effort put into this child and being loved and raised properly.
100%.
I can't imagine. Yeah. So Molly Golightly, her justification for filming her was because she was trying to film her stealing from her purse. Now,
she didn't say stealing. No, she didn't say stealing. She said that Jay was playing with her purse. She didn't say anything about
I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all.
No.
I mean, that doesn't make sense.
Robin was on stage singing, but Robin's husband was in the church.
Okay.
So he was close enough to touch Jay. So there's no question about what Jay did or did not do. Because although Robin was singing and her husband was not sitting right next to Jay, he was sitting close enough to touch Jay. So the whole story that she told was just don't be a liar. Don't be a liar. If you're going to go to another town and scream and carry on like a raging lunatic, and listen, I'm appalled. I'm going to be frank. I'm quite pissed off when I find out the people that are down there raising hell on behalf of Summer Wells. I've never met Summer. I've never met her parents.
Can you, now you do go to that town often to visit?
I've been there.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you actually attest to what the general consensus is around there as far as what happened to Summer and and how they feel about Summer's parents?
If I could answer that, I would. I mean, I would be frankly honest with you about it.
Right.
I haven't. It's not something. So one thing that this case has done is destroyed any kind of transparency or communication between family and friends and people that are influencers of any type. You know what I mean? If you have any type of platform, I feel like I can say this because I'm part of a bereavement group. I'm part of a child loss group. I lost my son.
I'm sorry.
And so thank you. So at the time that my son passed away, I would have been more than happy to talk about him to anybody that was, willing to listen. I would never do that today. Doesn't matter what you say, you're gonna get ripped apart. So when I go to visit my Nana, she and I may have a conversation about like the local news or, any search teams that are down there or, taking flyers somewhere or something like that. But I'm not going to ask anybody anything about their beliefs or their opinions. And people down there are not just going to, stand on the corner and kind of have a conversation about it. People are appalled by, so I'll say it like this, that old Southern hospitality kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They would, if they don't like a specific family or person, they're just going to avoid them. And if the opportunity comes that they're face to face, they're going to smile and say, I'm really sorry for what you're going through, and go on about their day. They're not going to, stand on a corner and scream. And I mean, they just really showed out. I wish I would have been down there when they were showing out. That's just absolutely ridiculous. And then because Robin won't talk or answer questions that you think you're entitled to know the answers to, who the hell are you? You're nobody. You're all felons. They've all got their own.
That's the whole reason I didn't go confront them. I was all fired up to do it, but I know for a fact that
pick me up on the way.
Yeah, I mean, but I would have been the one that ended up in handcuffs, and they would be on their YouTube channels playing victim. That's what would have happened. There's no doubt in my mind about it. So that's why I chose not to.
Yeah, I get it. I'm really hoping that people are seeing exactly what's happening right now. Like 2016, my son passed away.
More and more people are.
It's so terrible. I mean, if you don't want to think about the adults, okay? If you don't like Robin, I mean, I can't speak on behalf of the Wells family because I don't know them. I personally am not a detective. I'm not a body language expert, but I can tell you this. Half the people probably watching this right now, if they would have walked into the funeral home when my son was having his ceremony and they would have saw me the first half of the day or the second half of the day, they probably would have had an opinion. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nobody knows how they're going to react. Nobody knows.
Right.
My son was a professional
I say
athlete.
that all the time.
I had cameras.
And it's being minimized. It's being minimized as a cliche, right? It's being minimized
100%.
as a cliche that by creators like them, that everyone grieves in their own way. Now,
Absolutely.
Is it said a lot? Sure. But the reason why it's said a lot and the reason why it's kind of a cliche is because it's true, because there's truth to it. So, there are people who beat themselves up because they feel like they should be crying, but for some reason they're not. There's people, everyone has their own way of dealing with grief. That is a fact. That is a fact.
Sure.
And we are nobody to judge them for how they choose to grieve.
Let me add something to this too, sir, if I can. Can you imagine, just for 1 second, can you imagine being the person whose child comes up missing? Okay, let's take off the table guilt or not guilt, because it's kind of irrelevant. Your child is gone. And you have taken so much criticism and hate from people who don't know you, who never will know you. You blinked too much or something like that, But can you imagine how much hate they have had to take in order to sit, 5 feet from these people that are screaming things at them like, I'm sorry, your baby died, and not react to that. You know what I mean? I'm talking a whole other level of crazy, because if somebody said that to me, they wouldn't be standing. I'm not Robin. I'll pray for you after I knock you on your ass.
Agreed. Now, the fact that Don stayed as calm as he did.
Yeah, there's no way.
You're trying to
give any credit
make
for
him
that.
out to be this violent, crazy person, right? But
and maybe he is. I don't know.
If you're trying to convince me of that fact, and then you go and I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm saying if you're trying to convince me of that idea, and you go to his job and scream, "What did you do to your baby? Tell us what you did to your baby," through a bullhorn, and you stay calm. I'm sorry, but I'm not believing what you're saying. I'm just not.
There's no way.
I'm believing the dude is a calm guy. He's not a violent person.
It spoke mountains to me. And I'm going to tell you the same thing that I put my hand on everybody else. I'm not a detective. I'm not a judge. And I'm not God. And if it comes out to be that beautiful little girl was hurt or killed, or I don't want to think about that, and that her family or friends or anybody had anything to do with it, put them so far under the freaking jail that they never see the light of day again.
Yeah,
drag them through town. But in the meantime,
I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. But the thing is in the meantime, since we actually have more evidence that we know of, that we've been made available, right? Or that have been made available to us is the proper way to say that. The fact that the evidence that has been made available to us so far actually leans to the contrary, that Don or Candace had anything to do with Summer's disappearance. Well, then it's our responsibility as decent people to support them until we find out otherwise.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
We have to assume that they're just completely and totally distraught because they don't have answers to what happened to their daughter.
I would so agree with that. I would so agree with that. I mean, what happened to kindness and human human compassion.
Right.
Um,
How are you going to claim to be a life coach?
that's right.
And this is the example you're setting to people who are depending on you to coach them in life. You know
couldn't
what I
agree
mean?
more.
Like that.
But let's be real about it. Let's look at who's down there. we have a big mouth Betty. I mean, I just can't. The names I call these people, I ain't gonna say on the show because it might be ugly.
You
but
can't. I've been dropping F-bombs and saying asshole for 2.5 hours.
I'm telling you, I wish. There's John Crimes. I love him. He is. I love him to death. So Skanks is great, but she's
Right.
she's been married apparently or whatever. She's been married, but she has no children, right? Never gave birth to a child. Never raised a child.
Nope.
And
has put her hands on and has gotten arrested for putting her hands on every single person that she's ever lived with. So
yeah, I watched a video. I sent that to Robin and said these are the people standing in judgment of everybody. But so she's never had a child. She's never mothered or fathered a child. She's never been even, I don't like to say step parent, but she's never, from what I understand, she's not a mom. But she's down there screaming in the face of everybody, going to child CPS or whatever, going to, buddy up with the police department when they're laughing at her. She has no flipping idea what it's like to give birth to a child, to name a child, to watch them teethe, to breastfeed them while they're teething. That's not fun. To, teach them how to walk, to watch them fall down, to have all their, their bumbles and whatnot. She has nothing of that. But yet she's, her background says that she's this crazy lunatic who just wants to beat everybody up. She ain't met the right person yet. She wouldn't be doing that. But then you got this JLR guy, okay? I really want to hit this one. Okay, this guy, I don't know where he came from, but if what I saw has any evidence to it, and I haven't looked it up yet.
He came from a very polluted set of balls.
Do you
That's
know?
my theory. That's my
I
theory.
mean, I don't think his nuts have ever dropped because the maturity we got going on with this guy. Is it true? Maybe you can confirm this. I just was sent a link, but I haven't really had a chance to look into it. But is it true that he has some type of obsession or fetish for school shootings?
Yeah.
And the victims, not the victims, but the people who are shooting. And he also has something
we've
with
been playing
movie
videos.
theaters.
Yeah, we've been playing videos of that he's made praising James Holmes, the Dark Knight Rises
Are you kidding me?
Colorado shooting. Yeah. And
you can physically see him on the video, so there's no denying that it's him.
He claims to be the uncle of the Sandy Hook shooter. Like he still does to this day. There's footage of him bragging.
Wait, hold on. Did you say Sandy Hook?
I did.
Okay.
There's video of him bragging this to Molly Golightly and Olivia.
To Heiferhead and Olivia, bragging about these things to them, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And on the video of him, and whenever they were, it's him on the video. You can visibly see his face.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Olivia's the one filming it, and she has him on there claiming to be the uncle of the Sandy Hook shooter, which his name escapes me right now, but.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, this guy's a lunatic. He's completely. There's videos of him that he made himself and released himself of him. He takes cutouts of their pictures of the Sandy Hook shooter and James Holmes and puts them on dolls and rides around town with them. It's the most twisted thing you've ever seen. Like, and he expects credibility. It's. Adam Lanza, thank you very much, Annabelle.
Yeah,
Adam Lanza being the Sandy Hook shooter, yes.
Oh wow, this just is another level.
People are saying, does JLR hold the Guinness Book of World Records title for most civil suits or the like? I've heard that, but I also read somewhere, and I read it on a live stream here. I read that Guinness denied it. They're like, we don't give records for things like that.
I mean, what a goal to achieve! Like your goal in life was to befriend every enemy.
Yeah,
of normal people.
Over 1,200 fraudulent civil suits.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. It's Wikipedia. He has his own Wikipedia. Look it up.
I ain't wasting my time. If he's all about Adam Lanza, Adam Lanza murdered 20 children, babies. I met some of their parents at a bereaved mother's convention, and
sorry,
I'll never forget.
2,600. I thought it was 1,200. Wait, okay,
what a goal!
Yeah.
I was hoping that none of that was true. So this is okay. So this guy, whose nuts never dropped, whose maturity level is that of a flippant ant, who also doesn't have any children. So I mean, none of them come out the woodwork. Said, hey, I got a kid with him. And then we got blowhard Betty, and then we've got Olivia, who's not old. I guess she doesn't have any kids. I don't know. And we got Heiferhead, who basically, I mean, thank God her husband is around, to be mom and dad. So these are the four people.
I don't know how he stays married to her, because my
husband would have beat me and sent me down the road, not beat me literally.
I played him talking to her as if I would have been talking to her about Don Wells. It was crazy.
Wow.
He was perfectly logical. He sat there and said the same shit I've been spewing out for 7 months. He sat there and was like, well, what makes you think that this guy is smart enough to pull the perfect crime? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up.
Right.
And this was on her live stream, and then she changed the subject.
Wow,
he also alluded to the fact that they talked about it before. He's like, I told you. She was like, come over here and tell everybody what your opinion is on the Wells case. And then he's like, well, we talked about this. I can't appreciate what you consider to be evidence against this guy.
Wow.
And he was like,
Okay,
if I were you, and he even said, if I were you and he turns out to be innocent, I would feel really, really bad about it.
That's what he said. I would feel really bad about it.
He straight up said that.
That's all he could come up with. I would feel real bad about that. Okay.
I mean, he's talking to his wife. I'm not going to be critical of the guy who's just trying to, and he doesn't want to embarrass his wife on her own live stream, which he actually did anyway. But he didn't want to be harsh about it, I'm sure. And who knows?
If he ever leaves her, I have a friend.
He treats her with respect all the time, and that's fine. I mean,
right.
You shouldn't live with somebody unless you treat him with respect. Anyway, you know what I mean?
I
definitely shouldn't be married to somebody.
Absolutely not. Never. You shouldn't be married if you can't respect yourself. I mean, I can't imagine, like, I'm 46. I just turned 46, and I couldn't imagine being 46 years old. I couldn't imagine being 35 and running around town, running around the country, acting a fool like she does. I couldn't do that. There's no way. I was married for a very long time. I would have expected my husband to hold me accountable and probably lock me in a room somewhere until, I had a mental evaluation. But I mean, you're a wife and you're a mom. But hear me out on this, because I'm kind of thinking that I'm raging a little bit. And
I mean, you're
really,
fine to
rage. I'm really pissed. Like, I'm really pissed.
I don't blame you. If Robin was, I'm pissed, and I don't know Robin. You know what I mean? I don't know Robin. I don't know her little girl, and I'm pissed about it. Every single person in this chat is pissed about it. And I have 430 people watching right now. Every single person in this chat, none of them know Robin or her daughter, and they're mad. I promise you that.
Let me take it up a little notch and tell you the reality of what my friend has to now deal with because of these animals. Let me tell you what, since then, I mean, just the fact that it's true, the things I've heard about these people who are quote unquote down there slinging Summer Wells' name around as if, they know her. But let me tell you this. I mean, I hope, I can't say it. This guy, the parents that I met, oh my God, what an animal. And he's down there wearing a Justice for Summer Wells shirt.
Yeah.
And he's down there running around, with people.
This is the essence of what everybody is angry about.
I don't understand
this is the essence of it.
But let me say it like this.
Even Monica Lightly's mods are
can you hear me okay?
One of them in my chat right now. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? I can hear you. I don't think you can hear me.
Hello?
Yeah. Hello? Nope. Maybe she'll come back in. So yeah, in the meantime, if she comes back on, then cool. But if she doesn't, I'm actually going to wrap this up. But if she can hear me now, I'd really like to thank Moto Mom for joining me on panel and sharing her thoughts and giving us some insight as to what poor Robin has been dealing with, and her little girl, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking what Moto Mom has gone through herself, and it's heartbreaking to know how this has affected Robin's daughter, who's Summer's age. And I can't believe anyone supports this. I can't believe anyone supports Molly Golightly. I can't. It doesn't make sense to me. And that's cool. Like, and a big shout out to Hounds. A big shout out. You're welcome here. If you get to a point to where you see through this stuff, and you're a supporter of any of these other channels and coming to terms.
It enrages everybody like it did me because, I heard that you said you were gonna, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I do want to fill you in on this part, especially now that I know who these people who use that term loosely are. So considering the 4 people that are down there, right? Here's what they did when they were down there on one stream, and Dumpster Clips, I believe. Oh man, so generous and great to help Robin and I gather, a lot of the stuff that we needed to take to law enforcement. But there's one stream or video that someone did that has Robin's first and last name in it. There's another stream that they did where they actually say where Robin works at. They're also uptown, close to where she works at, with, flyers and asking everybody, have you seen Summer Wells? In another clip, so then they go to the church and blatantly, intentionally, and with nefarious intent, record Jay, and don't blur it out or anything like that. He was, very young, and they blast that for all the world to see, and leave it up long enough for tons and hundreds of other people to take clips of it, right? Then they say Robin's address, and then now they've gone to her home. So this is where, the mom and Robin comes out. So basically what they've done is anybody who's sitting anywhere in the country that is, I don't know what I can say or not say, but any of the little, people that we don't want out among society, I'm gonna call them predators. I mean, they know what Jay looks like, where she lives, where she goes to school. They know, it would be so easy to look up where Robin works at and see what her work schedule is. You know what I mean? What they have done is they have made Jay so vulnerable to predators with ill intention that it's beyond scary. Robin and Jay were gone over the weekend because of the chaos that has brought to their home. Because when you put all that stuff out there, you then have no control over who's going to get it. You know what I mean? So then you get random phone calls, you get people stopping by your house. And so here's the thing, Robin was kind to a family that walked into their church. She fell in love with their daughter and her daughter, close to the same age. They played together. Robin's a very motherly figure. And because of that, they started to come for her a long time ago. So she disappeared. You know, I'm not going to be in the spotlight. I don't want to answer questions. And so this time she didn't do anything. You know what happened? They wanted Robin. They have the sense of entitlement and they wanted answers. And you know what Robin said? I've given law enforcement every answer to every question. And even when they come into her church, before she knew about the videotape or the video camera, because, you know, they hid that because they knew it was wrong.
Right.
She invited them to a potluck.
Wow.
Because that's just Robin. You know what I mean? So they have any child in Hawkins County, Hawkins County.
I want to go to a potluck. I'm hungry as hell right now.
Robin can cook too.
I bet she can.
But that's the reality of it. You know, the reality of it is
she's way out of my league. But when you said she was married, I was like, dang.
Oh yeah, Robin's very married.
Yeah,
very happily
and
married.
She should be, and yeah, she should be because she seems like a very beautiful soul who deserves to have a very stable and happy life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's not fake. What you see is what you get. She gets a little nervous, gets a little giggly, but I have never. My Nana has known her longer than I have. She has never said an ill word about anyone, even with everything that's going on right now, putting her daughter in a position of vulnerability to predators or anybody.
No, and
every other child.
Are you aware of the fact that Bullhorn booed on her live stream earlier today? Because I almost played it. I didn't know it, but somebody let me know in the chat, so I'm glad I stopped it. But apparently, she doxed her on her live stream again.
No, can you play that? Can you play that for me?
I can't because she says her address and shows her house.
Are you kidding me? She says her address?
Yeah. Well, that's what they're telling me in chat. So I don't know. I don't know.
And I had a link sent to me, and I clicked on it, and I went to the timestamp, and show as hell, they's walking down the street, pulling on up into the driveway, walking on up to the house. I mean, we're taking it to a whole other level. So these idiots who already have, I mean, this little pipsqueak dude is like idolizing people who have murdered children. You know what I mean?
Right.
He murdered children, and this guy somehow,
okay,
even if he's doing it for kicks.
Let me interrupt you real quick. So what they're confirming in my chat is what she did was they showed video and it showed her house with Robin's mailbox, which has her address on the mailbox.
That's what I seen. Yeah.
They did not redact that.
Of course not, because that's work, right? Because it's too much work. It's actually accountable and responsible for being a decent human being.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, so we've got 4 people. I mean, thank God that Heifer's husband is a stable parent in their child's life. I'm thankful for that. The other 3, they're not parents. They don't know what it's like to be a parent. They don't know what it's like to lose a child as a parent. And one of them idolizes, mass shooters of children, and they're down there and they're making every child in Hawkins County vulnerable to predators. That's what they're doing right now. Until law enforcement is done with what they're doing on behalf of Robin and Jay, there is just hell that's been brought to my friend's doorstep, and there's no reason for it. And what really pissed me off, and I would love to be face to face. I would love to be face to face with that skank face, good for nothing loser that was all over today showing Robin's house and shit. I don't know who the fuck she thinks she is, but I would love to be face to face with her. She is trash at the trashiest level of disgusting. Like, you're gonna get on a freaking live stream and you're gonna laugh and say something like Crimea River and building a bridge. Bitch, I'll bury you under that bridge for talking shit about my friend and her daughter. I am done playing nice. They freaking showed her address. What did Robin ever do?
Well,
she was kind when other people were not.
Let's break this down for what it actually is.
Did she know that she was like in Hulk Hogan back in the 80s?
The reason that that's funny. The reason that it's fucked up to show a child without their consent is because and post it on social media is because it could attract predators. So on top of that,
it has attracted predators.
So on top of that, and you're confirming that it has attracted predators. So on top of that, they showed the address of where that little girl lives.
Absolutely, they mentioned the school.
To that little girl,
absolutely,
if happens to that little girl, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I don't know if I'll have the self-control to just.
Right, see, that's what I was talking about earlier. You've got these idiots with their history. We've got 3 that aren't even parents down there, just like putting themselves in the line of fire and whatever. That's what they act like. I'm in the line of fire. They're down there raising all this hell on Summer's name. Absolutely, and they're not parents. You know what I mean? One of them idolizes a freaking school shooter, for God's sakes. That is brutal enough. I would love to stick him in a room with the parents of those 20 babies that were murdered. But okay, so now they're in Hawkins County making all these kids vulnerable, and then they leave and they're like, hey, no big deal.
No, if you stick Molly Golightly in a room with all of those parents, she's going to totally suck all the energy and make it about her and be like, and put on a show of such empathy. Oh my God, I'm so sorry for all of you. And just perform. That's what she's going to do. Because she
it's not going to work on? It's not going to work on a parent. It's not going to work on a parent who has saw their child dead in a casket go into the ground. It's not going to work on us.
No,
it's not going to work
of course
at all. It pisses us off. The bereavement group that I'm in, I mean, we all say the same thing.
I can't really even imagine going through what you've gone through or any of those other parents have gone through. I can't imagine it. My son is now 21 years old. And the thought of losing him is, I can't imagine. I can't even bring myself to much less.
My son was 21 years.
Small.
My son was 21 years, 9 months, and 29 days. And
my son, when he was a baby, I thought that he was so good to be true. So too good to be true that I was so afraid of SIDS. When he would sleep, I would wake up on my own numerous times throughout the night just to check and see if he was breathing.
For sure.
Because I felt like, what the fuck am I to deserve such an awesome person in my life? That's how I genuinely felt when he was a baby.
I did the same thing until he started traveling with his sports team. He was a professional motocross racer. He traveled all over.
Wow.
And it was a hard decision to let him travel, being so young, but it was his passion. Right. And but when he was home, I did the same thing. I go in his room and wake him up. I put my finger underneath his nose,
Yeah.
Him and his brother both. They'd wake up like, Mom, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. So making sure everything is good. I mean, I can't imagine going through it either. And, I kind of have a group, parents who are just starting on their journey in the shoes. And that, that first stage of numbness when you're just kind of like, what in the heck am I going to do? And it takes over. And that's the make it or break it phase when, you know, a lot of parents go to addiction to numb their emotions. A lot of parents go to seclusion. 3 out of every 10 parents that's pre-COVID, before COVID brought the chaos, 3 out of every 10 parents who had a child that was 5 years old or older committed suicide within the first 5 years. So, you know, it's important to me to gather the masses, like-minded people, to show people that, you know, you don't get a choice. It's not like, you know, one day somebody said, hey, right now, without hesitation, which one of your kids can you live without? You don't get the option to beg, you know, trade your life, but you have to go through it. And at the other end comes the time that you make their life valuable. And I want to help, you know, there's people that are going to have to go through that, and they're good people and they don't do anything to deserve it. It just, bad things happen to good people. And it's important to me to be there for them, to, you know, to help them see that they have life to live. And
right. So your method of grieving for your own loss is to help and support others who are dealing with the same thing, which is extremely, I mean, noble doesn't even seem to be the right word to describe it. I mean, I think it speaks volumes of your heart and your soul. It really does. So I want to give you some praise on that, because that's not something that most people do. And you know, people who deal with this kind of loss and choose to go down another road and self-medicate and be a mess, well, guess what? They still have every right to do that.
Absolutely.
You know, they have every right to 100%. Do that. But for you to go down the road of just trying to help others, I think is a beautiful thing. And I'm really grateful to talk to you. I'm really grateful to have you on my channel. So thank you so much.
I appreciate being here. I very much so do. I got to a point, Robin knows, we had a conversation, you know, a few days ago about trying to get the truth out there so that people aren't continuously feeding into the BS. And there's been other creators on YouTube that I have seen put out the message that, and I agree with it 100%. I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't know anything about YouTube, as far as, like, you know, having a channel, making money, whatever. But I know this: you surround yourself with, how do they say it? Your outward environment is a reflection of your inner self. So when you have inner chaos going on, because you're, you know, got an emotional situation or something like that, you tend to, you know, kind of your outward environment tends to reflect what you got going on inside. So if those people, I can't even imagine that those people would ever have an ounce of decency to do anything positive in life for people, I would have followed them and supported them. But today, with what they're doing,
I said the exact same thing. I said the exact same thing. If they were doing things the right way and actually for the right reasons, I would be supporting them. I would be sharing their videos in a positive way. I would join them. I live here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I would join them.
It's almost like, you know, it might be entertainment. Okay, I want people to hear this. There was a day that I would go to a motocross track as a paramedic, and a crash would happen, right? And I would be taking care of this kid or grown person. And then there were a couple of times that, you know, the accidents were pretty severe and people didn't survive their injuries. And it never dawned on me that I could be that person one day. Never. I lived in a world like everybody else does, where nothing was going to happen. Right? You can't. I still can't imagine it. You asked me today, what did it feel like to have to go pick out a casket? I can't imagine it. It sucked. It was miserable. It wasn't fun. But I can't imagine ever having to do it, because it's like,
it needs to be
right.
done, unfortunately.
That's right.
You're
the last thing
in a
that you're going to
deal with it.
Right. You go into this is the last thing I'm going to do for him. So it has to be perfect and to the best of my ability. And then I'll never look back and say I wish I would have could have. Right.
Right.
So it's kind of the same thing. I mean, when you're watching these assholes go and tear someone's life apart because they think that they're guilty of something, or because they think or feel like somebody should answer questions, like, take your sense of entitlement and shove it up your ass, because nobody owes you shit. Nobody owes you a damn thing. So when you want to run around creating chaos and you want to rip somebody's life apart and make their child vulnerable and all the other children in the area, when you guys go to that channel and you entertain that bullshit and you give it a like or review, you're doing what I did, and you're sitting and living in this world where it's not going to affect you. And I don't know everybody's spiritual beliefs or whatever.
That's very well put. That is very well put. I mean, you know, coming from someone who has experienced the most unspeakable thing that a parent could experience, coming from you, you know, and putting it like that and saying, hey, you're living in this bubble where you're acting like these things can't happen to you.
Absolutely.
They're basically,
it does.
They're just simply not practicing any type of empathy.
Not at all.
And there's a bunch of people who call themselves empaths. It's like,
right.
No.
And I want to ask them a lot, you know, whenever I hear about all these people that are still watching these channels, here's what I want to ask them. If you were in Kingsport or Raptorsville or Ben Creek Road or wherever, and you saw those animals and their ridiculous behaviors with bullhorns and signs, if you were standing there on the corner with them, like the one guy, I don't know who that guy is, but I put him in the same category. I got it written down. Justice for All, that's his name. He was there one day. So if you're standing there, would you also be yelling to Candace and Don? Right. Like, I'm sorry, your baby's dead. Would you say that to Candace's face?
Nobody else went out there, though. See, that's what I find interesting. Because
nobody down there is going to do that. That's inhumane.
Right. No, and not even her listeners.
Behavior.
All of these listeners who donate money to her, like by the hundreds too. It's crazy. They'll donate $100. Boom, right there. Super chat $100 while she's up there stuffing her face. You know,
they're contributing to it.
And they're
just as guilty
but you're going to tell
people they're doing it.
But I'm curious as to if you can afford to just drop $100 because you're watching someone eat, right? If you can afford to do that, then why didn't you fly out there like she did and protest and support too?
I know it's shameful. Because the entertainment.
They whether they are conscious of it or not, the only thing that they're interested in is being entertained. That's
Absolutely. 100%. I couldn't agree more. The entertainment.
They don't care about what it's costing others. They don't care.
Their entertainment is at the expense of a 5-year-old little girl who's missing, and another small little girl who's now in jeopardy and danger.
Now in jeopardy because of them collectively as a group.
And I'm going to tell you something else. In between the time that, you know, all this has been reported, I don't know for sure what law enforcement down there is going to do. But here's something to think about: when all the evidence of what they've done by entering the church, which, by the way, the signs are out there and it is, is not public property. For them to go in there and secretly record and take it, put it, whatever. All this stuff has been handed into law enforcement, right? So, waiting to see what they decide to do. Here's what I want you to think about. If they do nothing, which is a possibility that they do nothing, and then we have to go another route with it, right? So, if law enforcement down there, Ronnie Lawson, who's standing at a podium all the time talking about how he's diligently leaving no stone unturned and dedicated and committed to finding Summer, what happened to her and holding somebody accountable, and 7 months later we don't know anything, okay? So we've taken evidence that now there's other children that are now vulnerable to predators and bad people because these assholes from another freaking area have come down there and stolen the peace, okay? Right. If they do nothing, I really hope people think about Summer's case and what has and has not been done, and gets tired of the lip service of having these people stand at a podium, a position of authority, and say things like, it's a fluid case. We're diligently leaving no stone unturned. I mean, you can't really say that, Ronnie Lawson. You can't really expect people to believe that, Ronnie Lawson, when you allow 3 or 4 or 5 people to come into your county, secretly record children, put it online for every predator to have, and you do nothing about it.
I agree. I think that the only pressure that should be put on the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department right now is to prosecute this group of people. I think that's, right. I mean, because I do believe.
And if they don't, you're going to go other route. Somebody is going to pay for what they've done.
Right. I do believe that they're doing everything to find Summer. I absolutely believe that, and I do support them. But you do have a very valid point when you say that it's hard to convince everyone of that when you're allowing these people to go down there and interfere with your investigation the way that
absolutely.
They are. So
I do not know what I believe anymore. I come from a family of law enforcement. I back the blue 100%. I love my local law enforcement. My local law enforcement would not do nothing. I don't know about Hawkins County, but I just wanted to put it out there, okay, that while all these people are running around screaming and throwing every Wells person underneath of every bridge that they can find, judge, jury, executioner, it never dawned on me that maybe they're not doing a whole lot. Maybe they're sitting back until the day that I had a video of those people screaming on Don's job site. So yes, you have First Amendment rights, but does that First Amendment right include harassment, threats, disturbing the peace? No, it doesn't. So then when Robin calls me crying, listen, yesterday I'm talking to Robin on the phone. She's in her car driving. Jay's in the back seat. Out of nowhere, she recognizes that they're driving closer to home because Robin took her out of town to get away because of just the stress. Okay, so she recognizes that they're driving home. You know what happened? She started crying. At nighttime, whenever, before Robin would take her to bedroom and, read a book to her and lay down with her. She does not want to be away from her mother right now because of the people that came banging on the door. So before anybody says, oh, that sounds like a little whatever, she's Summer's friend. Her and Summer were friends. And all of a sudden one day,
how do you explain
Summer's gone.
She's just gone. How do you explain that? We don't know what happened to your friend.
Right.
I'm sorry.
So when her
she's just
friend
gone.
comes up missing, and then there's cameras everywhere, and then all these news people are in town, and they're wanting to talk to her mom, and they're coming to the house, and then it settles down. And then they come back, and then it settles down. And now her picture is all over everywhere.
Yeah, she should not be having to deal with any of this.
And if Ronnie Lawson and those people expect everybody to believe that they are truly looking for Summer, they better get on it and do something.
I can't disagree with you on that. I cannot disagree with you on that. As much as I've positively said things about the TBI and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department,
they said they let these animals go everywhere.
That's a hell of a perspective I can't disagree with at all.
It made me think. I mean, they sat and let these people on the job site say the most. I mean, I'm telling you, I could not have held my shit together if I was standing there right next to Don Candace Wells. Right. And I don't know what happened, but nobody deserves that shit. They did it in front of everybody. And they sat there and they let it happen. So are they, what went through my head? I'm not accusing this. I'm saying what went through my head was, 7 months later, we don't know nothing?
At this point, I think it's a question of the FBI to handle it. The FBI to get in touch with somebody on YouTube and deal with these people and get them shut down.
We're working on that.
Because I'm all about free speech. I'm all about the First Amendment. You know what I mean?
I don't like cancel culture.
But when
absolutely.
I can't stand cancel culture. But it's a difference if you're using your platform to put people in danger.
Right. They're not even acknowledging. They have not once. When they were put in the position, I wish that I was face to face with them. Because when those fucking assholes were put in the position of saying, I messed up. I'm sorry. I did not intend to do that. That was not right. I should have never done that. They didn't do that.
None at all. Right.
Looked into the fucking camera and said, "Cry me a river and build me a bridge." Bitch, I'm working on your fucking bridge, honey. I'm working on your bridge. Okay? I'm working on it.
I'm gonna cut you off there and close with that because that was beautiful and I agree with you 100%. I want to thank you for joining me. I do have to wrap this up, but I want to thank you for joining me up here and sharing sharing your thoughts and expressing and sharing what you've dealt with.
And these are my words. These are not Robin's words. These are my words.
No, I get it. Yeah, I want to be clear about that. Moto Mom is not up here speaking for Robin. She's
absolutely
speaking
not.
her opinions on as Robin's friend. She's speaking her opinions on what's taking place. So I want to be clear.
I'm tired of watching her. Tired of watching her suffer through this. Shielding her.
I get it, and I'm with you. And anything that I can do to help, I'm happy to.
I will remember that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And Duster,
please
too. And I gotta say that I was watching Crude AF. I think.
Yeah.
Crude AF. I was watching him earlier today. He's great. I really like him. There's like a handful that Robin and I both have.
Have you watched Burnt Toast yet?
Oh yes, she's awesome. Listen, I want to make a shirt. Oh my gosh, I got a new heat press. I want to make a shirt, right? And because of the whole fair use stuff, which I don't even know what the hell it is, but I want to make a shirt and I want to put stringly blonde hair and really wrinkly face, like BHB skank face, and then I want to put educated by a piece of burnt toast on a shirt, because she's educating that freaking bitch. Yes, yeah. I love her. She's great.
Yeah, she's great. She's educating us all. She's incredibly intelligent.
And she's Native American, right?
Thorough. I'm not sure. I think
she is. I sense it. I'm Native American.
She referred to herself, I believe, as indigenous at one point.
Yes.
So yeah. Yeah,
I felt that with her. She's, which I'm not like, psychic, blah, blah. I don't know anything about that stuff. People have it, people don't have it. But she's amazing. I love her. I subscribed to her channel. I sent her a super chat not long ago. I learned how to do that. I'll be super chatting like a crazy person here. I just really want people to, that's the thing. Don't go watch that trash because all these other channels have all the stuff on there.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not about cancel culture.
I really gotta go because I got 3 huskies just staring at me because they
sounds awesome. Take them babies out. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.